Do you know what the Roman soldier's belt was really used for? In the Roman army, this belt, called the baltus, was much more than just a piece of leather. It helped keep the soldier's tunic in place and made sure his sword was always right at his side, ready to use. At the front, the belt ended in several leather strips decorated with metal pieces. These weren't just for looks, they also served as protection for the lower part of the body during battle, helping shield the most sensitive areas. But the belt wasn't only about usefulness, it also carried deep symbolic meaning. The baltus was often decorated with silver plates or bronze engravings, and it had a unique look that made a legionary easy to recognize on the battlefield. It showed that he belonged to the Roman army and was loyal to both Rome and his legion. If a soldier was ever punished or disgraced, one of the worst things that could happen to him was being forced to take off his belt. This act meant he was suspended from duty, and it was a huge public humiliation. Removing the belt meant he had lost his honour and was no longer seen as a warrior. In the year 69 CE, known in history as the Year of the Four Emperors, a dramatic event happened in Rome that showed just how serious this belt was to Roman soldiers. The new emperor Vitellius had taken power, but people were already turning against him. One event that made things worse involved his soldiers, who had come from the Rhine region. These legionaries were walking among the Roman civilians in the city, but many of the locals didn't like them. To insult the soldiers, some civilians began cutting their belts in crowded public places. This was more than just a prank. It was a huge insult. Cutting a soldier's belt was seen as deeply offensive because the belt stood for the soldier's service, dignity, and pride. When the soldiers realized what was happening, they became furious. They didn't just shout or protest. They fought back violently, killing the civilians they caught in the act of cutting their belts. This violent reaction showed just how important the baltus was to them and how seriously they took the idea of personal honour. But even though the soldiers defended their pride, the whole event made Vitellius look even weaker and less popular. It showed that Rome was full of unrest and division during that time. So, the baltus wasn't just a part of a soldier's uniform, it was a powerful symbol of who he was. It stood for his loyalty to the army, his connection to the emperor, and his role as a servant of Rome. Through this simple belt, we can understand how deeply the Romans cared about status, identity, and honour in their military. It shows us the strong sense of discipline and respect that existed in the Roman army, and how even a small piece of equipment could hold great meaning